The hardest worker in the room is almost never the most powerful person in it. Read that again. The one carrying the most. The one answering every message. The one wearing exhaustion like a medal earned in battle. It looks admirable. It feels noble. But most of the time, that person is reacting, not leading. Moving, but not arriving. Busy, but not effective. And the truly powerful? They are somewhere quieter. Watching. Waiting. Choosing. Part 1. The worship of effort. From the beginning, most of us were taught the same religion. More hours means more value. Exhaustion is proof of commitment. If you are not overwhelmed, you are not trying hard enough. We learn to equate busyness with importance. We learn to measure worth by how much we could carry. But here is the question that quietly dismantles that belief. If effort alone created power, why are the busiest people rarely the ones in control? Look carefully at the rooms you enter. The one running from task to task rarely shapes the direction of things. The one who pauses, who listens, who speaks last, that one does. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Notice what he did not say. He did not promise control over chaos. He did not suggest reacting faster. He pointed inward. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything, you begin to choose what actually deserves your response. That small internal shift changes the entire game. Part 2. The pause that changes everything. Once you understand that power begins inside, you start noticing how much of your day is driven by impulse. A message arrives and you rush to answer. A comment stings and you defend yourself. An opportunity appears and you reach for it before asking whether it fits your direction. Action often feels productive, but sometimes it is just anxiety in disguise. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That reaction, that split second between stimulus and response, is where energy is either lost or preserved. When you react to everything, you scatter your strength. When you pause, you gather it. That pause may feel uncomfortable at first. Silence can feel like weakness in a world addicted to speed. Yet that silence is not emptiness. It is evaluation. It is space for thought. It is the difference between being pushed by circumstances and standing firm within them. Part 3. The unconscious cost. Here is where it becomes uncomfortable. Most of what drives constant activity is not ambition. It is fear. Fear of being seen as lazy. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing relevance. Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Many actions that feel strategic are actually protective attempts to soothe an insecurity through motion. When you bring those fears into awareness, they lose their grip. You realize that many of your battles were never yours to fight. Every argument entered without reflection. Every task accepted out of guilt. Every response given before thinking. All of it chips away at the one thing that cannot be replenished. Focused attention. Part 4. The art of protected emptiness. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasted time is not only idleness. It is also misdirected effort, saying yes to things that do not matter, scattering attention across the trivial, while neglecting the one decision that could alter the path entirely. When you cut away what is unnecessary, you do not become lazy. You become precise. Fewer actions, greater impact, fewer words, stronger meaning. Calm people are not calm by accident. Their steadiness is not a personality trait. It is the result of discipline. They have eliminated trivial decisions. They do not argue about everything. They do not check their phone every few minutes. They do not engage in every discussion that tries to pull them in. They protect their attention like it is something rare and valuable. Because it is. Part 5. The chess player. Picture a chessboard. The amateur moves quickly. Pieces shift constantly. There is noise, motion, activity. It feels impressive. It feels energetic. But often it is careless. The experienced player sits still, studying the board. Minutes pass. Nothing seems to happen. From the outside, it looks like hesitation. Yet everything is happening. The experienced player is calculating consequences, tracing patterns, anticipating responses that have not yet occurred, conserving energy, waiting for clarity. And when they finally move, the board changes in a way that cannot be easily reversed. The difference is not intelligence alone. It is discipline. And that same pattern appears everywhere in life. When pressure rises, the crowd reacts first and thinks later. It is easier to follow the wave than to resist it, but the one who remains still gathers information. They observe who is motivated by fear and who is thinking clearly. They notice which arguments are emotional and which are rational. In that quiet observation, power accumulates. Part 6. Stillness under pressure. Think about the moment someone questions you in front of others. Something rises in the chest. The thoughts speed up. Everything inside you wants to respond now. But pause and look closely at what is actually happening. The discomfort you feel is not about the event itself. It is about the story forming in your mind. It is about ego, about fear, about the need to restore control instantly. Action becomes the fastest way to soothe that discomfort. Doing something feels like regaining power even if that action is impulsive and poorly chosen. Imagine the criticism lands. All eyes turn. You feel the heat. You have two options. You can fire back and match the energy in the room. Or you can breathe, sit still, and let silence fill the space. That silence feels heavy. It feels like weakness. It feels like surrender. But in reality, it is control. You are not allowing emotions to dictate your move. You are choosing your move. And in that pause, others begin to reveal more. They talk longer than they planned. They show their impatience. They expose their motives. You gather information while conserving energy. You are not withdrawing. You are observing. Part 7. The disappearance that builds. Sometimes, doing nothing feels like falling behind. You open a screen and see constant updates, announcements, new projects, loud progress, people sharing every win in real time. It creates pressure. It creates the illusion that movement equals growth. And if you are not visibly active, something inside you begins to question. Am I being left behind? But pause and look closer. Are they building power or are they building noise? Activity can be impressive without being meaningful. Visibility can look like momentum without creating depth. The Stoics understood something modern culture struggles with. The focus was never on being seen. It was on becoming solid. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one." That instruction does not require an audience. It demands alignment between intention and action. When you withdraw strategically, when you limit your exposure to noise, say no, more often than yes, decline what does not align, stop explaining every step of your journey. People may misunderstand your absence. They may assume you have slowed down. The world is quick to label stillness as weakness because it cannot see preparation. But preparation does not announce itself. It strengthens foundations. Part 8. The authority that needs no stage. There is a psychological shift that happens when you truly begin to master stillness. At first, it feels like loss, but slowly something changes. You become selective, and selectivity changes your presence. When you stop speaking constantly, your words carry more weight. When you stop explaining yourself at every turn, people begin to assume you have reasons for your silence. When you stop proving your worth in every interaction, your worth becomes less negotiable. Socrates observed, "Strong minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Weak minds discuss people." Notice what it takes to live at the level of ideas. It requires detachment from daily noise. It requires resisting the pull of gossip, outrage, and endless commentary. It requires the courage to step back from the surface and focus on something deeper. Marcus Aurelius wrote of the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say. That tranquility is not indifference. It is stability. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing you do not need to engage in every debate to maintain your identity. When someone tries to provoke you, and you remain steady, you are not weak. You are disciplined. Each refusal to react strengthens your inner position. You are building authority over yourself before trying to influence anyone else. Part 9. The bow drawn tight. Think of a bow pulled back in stillness. From the outside, no visible movement. But all the force is stored in that tension. When it releases, the arrow flies farther than frantic hands could ever throw it. That is what restraint does. It concentrates your strength. It allows you to move with power at the exact moment it matters. This is the paradox most people struggle to accept. By doing less, you accomplish more. By speaking less, you are heard more. By moving less, often your movements become decisive. The crowd measures success by constant activity. You begin to measure it by impact. And in a world addicted to noise, that calm becomes your greatest advantage, closing the quiet rise. Eventually, something remarkable begins to happen. It does not arrive suddenly or loudly. It grows quietly, almost unnoticed at first. When you stop reacting to everything, you begin to see patterns. When you slow down your responses, you notice the motives behind words, the trends beneath movements, the opportunities hidden inside chaos. While others rush to act, you are watching the structure beneath the surface. And over time, the rooms you enter begin to feel different. Not because you are louder, not because you are faster, not because you have done more, but because something in you has become unmovable. And unmovable things have a way of becoming the center of gravity in every room they occupy. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The one who reacts the fastest is rarely the wisest. Real power moves quietly. It waits. It chooses. It strikes only when it must. And when you learn to stand still while the world rushes, you don't fall behind. You rise above.